My name is Sree Iyer and I run a very popular YouTube channel called PGurus, and we are in 3 different languages. We do English, we also do Tamil, we also do Hindi, and on top of that we have a podcast channel. We also have a news channel, 𝗣𝗚𝘂𝘁𝑒𝑊. In fact, I would be remiss if I don't tell many of our viewers. I don't know how many of you have been following it. We've been at this for about 8 years. One of our big success stories was the 𝗒𝙧𝙤𝘀𝘀 𝗍, and from there we have not looked back. We have done many exposés, and we are hoping that we continue to be liked by all of you. So still a work in progress. We would like to reach to 1 million and beyond, and thank you all for your support. So today I have been given a very difficult task. 2 supremely talented individuals, Suhag Shukla ji, welcome to PGurus channel as well as to Hindu Unity Day. And Suhag ji and I go back a few years. We have had a few interactions. What I really admire about Suhag ji is her tireless effort and the nice way in which she differs with people. You need to have that nicety in the legalese. You should really follow her on Twitter. For those of us who understand what she's meaning, it goes and hits home. Very poignant and very composed. It takes a lot to take on some of the people who are very in your face, and to not lose your poise and still make the point and make it stick. That's an art in itself. And Sanjay ji is, to me, he is like the person that I would go to if I have any questions about anything Sanatana Dharma related. He's one of those people who you don't see him out in the front, but if you need an answer for anything, he has it for you. And I'm hoping that we'll see you in a different light today as you participate in this panel, Sanjay ji. And very honored that you pick up the phone. I know how busy you are. So you always pick up the phone, you have time for me. Thank you so much, sir. And viewers, I don't know when I'll call because there are so many things going on. I want to get one fact right for my program. So I usually have to talk to some people to get an idea. Am I too far off or am I on point? So Sanjay ji is a big resource for me. Thank you so much, sir. So today's topic, Hindu Unity Day. And we are going to start with Suhag ji. Suhag ji, Hindu unity, what does it mean to you?
Well, it's an honor to be here. I usually am in California for at least 2 weeks to visit my parents, so I consider myself very fortunate to be able to be here and meeting so many familiar faces and meeting new ones as well. So with difference, I'm going to start with, with unity, I'm going to start with difference. Because difference is natural. But we as Hindus have taken difference to soaring heights. Of course, everyone in the world has age, gender, ethnicity, language. We have also region, community, dialect, accent. We each have our unique culture, philosophies, and purpose. As organizations, we might be promoting religion. Some are cultural organizations here. We have service organizations, performing arts, increasing our political representation, and of course what I do, education and advocacy. As Hindus, we have Nastics, we have Astics, we have Nirgun, Sagun, Vaishnava, Shaiva, Shakta, Smartha. Even the color of stone we prefer in when we venerate his, her, or their forms. How we greet each other, Namaste, Namaskar, Namaskaram, Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Mataji, Jai Siyaram, Jai Swami Narayan, Swami Sharanam, Om Namah Shivaya, Hari Om, Kya Hale, Vannatam, Gemcho, Hello, the list goes on. Whether we eat more rice or roti or both, whether we actually fast on fasting days or have a long menu of fasting foods, what festivals we celebrate and how. I think I've counted at least 12 different Hindu New Years, different times of the year, and I'm sure there's more. How we dress, down to the way, which direction the pleats of your sari are going and which shoulder your pallu goes over. And I haven't even mentioned sports teams or politics. You name it, Hindus have found it. Where people around the world have a bachelor's degree in difference, we have a PhD. So as Hindus, we've also been faced with a choice for thousands of years, and we're faced with a choice today. We can take difference and let it be the cause of divergence, meaning that we allow those differences to divide us further, which has and does happen. It's driven by attitudes of we're better than them, they're unworthy, or worry about us first. And what that does is it hardens our identities around our differences. The other choice is diversity, acknowledging and even celebrating our differences as existing within a broader shared reality of our shared divine essence and the interconnectedness that merits that each of us contribute to the well-being of the whole, of being inheritors of a civilization that's built upon philosophies, teachings, and practices aimed at managing and ultimately freeing ourselves from life's ups and downs, and an ethos of compassion and pluralism, and sometimes even accepting the fact that we have common challenges and enemies. So what does unity look like for Hindus? I think unity looks like an engaged diversity in which we don't allow our differences to divide, but we also don't let the unity make us uniform. We learn to navigate our plurality in the way our ancient rishis did, objectively, unemotionally, wisely, truthfully, with discernment, courageously, selflessly, through introspection, and through dialogue and debate. Now that all sounds very theoretical, so what do I really mean in terms of hard examples? How do we apply diversity or unity within diversity in our day-to-day lives? It's having a direct conversation with the leader of your organization because you may not agree with a particular decision they've taken, rather than gossiping or undermining their leadership. It's investing time and effort, inviting representatives from other organizations to our unique events and exemplifying 𝗤𝘗𝘗𝘖 𝗍𝑚. It's recognizing that keeping things quiet or not sharing if our institution has been attacked, vandalized, or burglarized, that makes every other institution more vulnerable. It's respecting other strengths and recognizing our own shortcomings when working on a shared initiative is happening so that we can ensure that not only the goal is achieved, but it's achieved well. So that's what unity looks like to me.
Thank you so much, Suhag ji. It's wonderful to hear from you, and I'm hoping that you'll raise our platform more often in the future. Suhag ji is in front of many of the initiatives, especially HAF does fantastic work in representing Sanatanis in various legal platforms, taking on cases. And this is very, very difficult, I can tell you. It's not easy. I've been an inventor. I've been called many names, so never truthful though. So I know how it goes. Thank you so much. Sanjay ji, ekam sat bahuta vidanti. So this, to me, again, Sanskrit has so many interpretations. To me, it means there is one absolute truth and there are many ways to get there. And today we have about 60 organizations represented here. Thank you all so much for coming on a weekend. And again, 9 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday morning, I mean, there are a lot of things we could do. Sleep being number one. And to all of us to rustle up and come here, beautifully dressed and dressed for the occasion, it was wonderful. Thank you so much. So, Sanjay ji, Tripathi, your family were expert in 3 different Vedas. So Sanjay ji, I'm going to ask you the same question slightly differently. Look at it from ekam sat bahuta vadanti, meaning like the truth is absolute. We have 60 organizations here. So Suhag ji has explained all the differences now. Now, we are being divided, whether we want to accept it or not. So how do we bring everybody back together?
Namaste everybody. So happy to see a lot of my seniors and elders are here. So in fact I'm standing on their shoulder where I am today, a lot of learning. So, as you said, your question, so I will, because I work mostly in the community, mostly behind the scene, and Sujata ji, Mahendra, and then Ashwini ji are local leads in Bay Area. So they nominated me, Sanjay ji, you should be coming sometime on the stage and speaking. So I said, okay, all right, I'll come here. So mostly working behind the scene and working with the organization and leads. Some believes in the thought process of 𝗒𝙗𝙖𝙪𝙤 𝗢𝘂𝘁. So all the great people are there, they are in the crown jewel, and how Sun brings all these great people to make a very beautiful garland. So they all are very accomplished people, and I'll maybe give you a very practical example. California textbook issues, people know about it. It's not about California, it's about America's textbooks at least. So 2018 round, when the books were supposed to come, so that whole work started about 2.5 years back, 2015 around October time frame. And it happened about 17 hearings before we could get the today's books, whatever the kids are studying. So 17 hearings, and initially couple of us used to go to Sacramento, take off, and then trying to get more data, who are the people who are running it, why the books are incorrect, what the intention behind it. And then slowly and slowly, after every hearing, we could see 2 more people are joining, 1 more organization is joining. And then after the framework round, we could see a good momentum. And today, and in 2017, November, the final hearing, whatever Hindu community could get it, was because of a simple one reason, Hindu unity. If there was no, all the organizations, whether it's Gujarati, with BAPS, everybody with this Telugu, Tamil, Kannada, if they were not there, I can tell it to you, going to those hearings, year after year, a month after month, hearing was there. They will only just listen one feedback from us. We'll submit 30 feedbacks. They will take one of us, only one feedback. But we could cancel the 2 most widely published books in California simply because of the strength of Hindu community. And we should understand, if we come together, we can make change. That's what we are looking for. So that's a very concrete example, I would say. You said ekam sat vipra bhuta bhajanti. So that's the example that whatever we say, if we come together, we can achieve whatever we want. That's why if you see, since you quoted one of the scriptures, the Rig Vedas, the ending, it ends, if you read the Rig Veda, it's such a sacred book. That book ends with, there are the last sukta. In the last book there are only 4 slokas, and all they talk about is Sangathan and Sangathan. So if you think about it, otherwise what is the reason of sacred text ending with unity together? Sangat Chattvam, Bhavadatvam, Sambhomanan Siddhantam, Deva Bhavamyatam. So there was no reason for compilers of Rig Veda to end with come together. Samano Akriti. There were no reasons. That's why if we come together, and that's the natural state, we'll achieve what we want. So all these great leaders are there. They have come together. HCI, it came because of the textbook movement. Guruji is here. So we all understand various initiatives has come because people have come together. So I'll just
Thank you so much, Sanjay ji. We wish you succeed more. I'm going to give you a harder question. Now, Suhag ji, you've been the face of some of the things that happened in Washington, D.C. in terms of like trying to pin people on their statements and stand and things like that. What kind of difficulties do you face when you're trying to tell them, look, this is the truth and this is where the proof of this lies? Because Sanatana Dharma, the Vedas, the Upanishads, there's a huge body of work to choose from. So how do you present, when somebody is giving you a divergent opinion about Hinduism or a view of Hinduism, how do you counter them? Give us one real example, maybe a couple of minutes.
Sure. You know, I think at HAF, one of the things that we learned early on when we have a Hinduism 101 curriculum in which we use that curriculum as the foundation for suggesting edits and corrections to the textbooks, as Sanjay ji has talked about, but also in teacher trainings, that we've trained about 3,500 public school teachers on our curriculum because in some states the textbooks are so bad. And I think what we shouldn't lose sight of is that the average teacher wants to get things right. And that should be kind of the motivating factor or the impetus in which you plan how you're going to engage in that relationship. Because the administrator or the politician may have some animus against you. But if you go in with that defensive stature that you would maybe against someone who is against you, it's definitely going to fail with someone who's actually curious and wanting to learn. So that demeanor of humility, of just sincerity, and you go in time again and again and you continue, even if they say, well, this is not, we don't believe this is what our textbooks say, you go back with a source. They don't believe that source, next time you go in, and each time with a smiling face. They knock you down, you get back up. What I've also found is that approach can also work with those who challenge us. And our tradition tells us that we need to remain with a level of equanimity in whatever work we do. So that's one thing. The second thing is that we have a great responsibility to cover our diversity. We're also very careful in saying that many Hindus believe this, some Hindus believe this, whatever it is, because we should never, and I said that early on, that in finding unity, not only do we need to transcend our differences for that positive goal that we have, but it's also important to celebrate some of those differences because it's what makes Sanatana Dharma so beautiful and rich, and what has also contributed to its survival. So being fair to those differences, making sure that we're getting original sources, making sure that when we don't have the answer, we have the humility to turn to people who would know better. I think all of those things together, there's no one thing, but I think it's many things. And they all come from our teachings.
Thank you so much, Suhag ji. Sanjay ji, in your day-to-day life, I should say, you're facing so many different challenges in terms of many of us don't even understand, the deepness of Sanatana Dharma. And I mean, a simple thing is Hindu is good, Hindutva is not good. Simple things like that. When people try to kind of pigeonhole you into a particular situation, how do you get out of it?
Very good question. I'm also thinking whether I should even respond to that or leave it to Swamiji is here, Parampuji Swamiji is here. Maybe they will cover some of this topic. But the people who are asking this question, they have an agenda.
Yes.
Yeah. So
yes.
We need to be very clear about it as to why they are asking. We need to be assertive to respond to it. We need to be not losing our confidence, not our temper, because that's what happens with a lot of time, that when we are not responding with a calm and cool, because that's what the reason that they're asking these questions. They also have full idea to do they are saying all these things. So, but they're asking all these things. So, continue doing this our work and so nothing to worry too much. Just build all these great people together, and they will solve all the problems. So I don't have to worry too much about these nitty-gritty. But as long as great people are there together, all the problems will go. And Hindus have to sort out all these things not because arrogance I'm telling, there is no solution to humanity which can be solved by anybody else than Hindus. Unfortunately, Hindus are not sitting on those tables where critical decisions are being made. So Hindus need to make sure that they come and acquire all those places where these things are being done, discussed. So there Hindutva also will be discussed because that's the way for humanity, not for Hindus, not for Indians, not for anybody. It's for whole humanity. So, and who are the top bearer for this thing? Hindus. The Hindus have to live this life. It's not easy stuff. But yeah, that's what you have to do, slowly and slowly. And they have to do, they will do it. And we will do it.
Thank you so much, sir. How are you doing? Are we done or do we have one more round of questions?
10
Just
minutes.
5 more minutes.
5 more minutes. 10 more minutes. Okay, great.
Yay!
So, one of the things that I see, over running my video channel is so many different thoughts, and even when I take up like Hinduism or Sanatana, the depth with which the guest comes to me is amazing. Some are very deep, some are not that deep, but they have broad knowledge. So actually, we are looking at Sanatanis not just in India, but today we have Sanatanis spread across the world. In fact, I was in Trinidad and Tobago a few years ago. There was a conference, Sanatani conference, and there was a lady from Suriname who was speaking excellent Hindi. They came there in 1840s. This is 2018, 160 plus years ago. She spoke excellent Hindi, and they had all their prakarmas, everything. They knew exactly what needed to be done. In fact, I went to a college with Chetty Jagan's younger brother. He was the Prime Minister of Guyana, if I remember correctly. Amazing grasp on Vedas. The biggest debates used to happen between a Hindu from Guyana and another one from Malta, of all places. And we Indians were like, huh? Really? This was the thing. So how you come across people from various walks of life, from across the world, and this unity encompasses everyone, including them. I mean, namaste or folded hands is something that all of us relate with. And this is something that's universal expression. Maybe one example of how you've come across somebody who was not what, like for example, an Indian Hindu, but somebody from somewhere else, and how that, how that interaction went.
Absolutely. Well, I was born and raised in this country, so already I know that early on in our days, my accent may be less credible amongst people who came from India, because there were certain ideas about who knows more about Sanatan Dharma. So, we have sometimes these kind of misunderstandings or assumptions that become obstacles to unity. Our Director of Education at HAF, his probably great-grandfather immigrated from India to Guyana. So he's Guyanese. Then his family moved to the UK. He has a PhD in Sanskrit and Indology. He's fluent in Hindi. He also can hold a conversation with me in Gujarati, and he's extremely knowledgeable and fluent in Sanskrit. So he's right there. I have the great honor and privilege of working with him every day. But what I've also seen through my travels, I'm very lucky to be able to travel a lot. So I've had the opportunity in the last 3 or 4 years to meet the Hindu diaspora in Nairobi. And in Nairobi, they've been there for 4 or 5 generations now, largely Gujarati. They all still are fluent in Gujarati. There are so many mandirs, not on the outskirts of town, but in the prime real estate of Nairobi. And not only that, but most of the institutions, like the Jalaram Baba Institution, serves free lunches to the poorest schools across the city 365 days a year. Then there's, I think it was either the Swaminarayan Mandir or some other mandir that had a hospital. And this hospital is such high quality that not only do wealthy people come there for their care, but they're also then, because of that quality, able to subsidize pre-care for poor people. I've met the diaspora in Australia, And Australia is, we were in Sydney. And they too have built institutions, but they're a newer diaspora. So they probably look a little bit more like we do here in the United States, where we have a blend of people like my father and mother who came here in the 60s, but then also recent people who came, after the tech boom really exploded. And whereas I went on a vacation in Lisbon, and it was Diwali, so we decided let's find a mandir so that we can go to darshan. We walked into this beautiful community of about 1,000 people, fluent in Portuguese and Gujarati and Hindi, and they had a wonderful satsang. So there's something about our tradition that has so much value, and that is that it gives us the tools and techniques to weather the ups and downs and the effects of ups and downs of our lives. And that's why I think there's so much value that people want to keep it on, carrying it on. And that's why it also makes it important for us to fight the stereotypes that we face, because I think in the United States, we're facing a crisis because those stereotypes are coming at us through textbooks, through the media, through social media, that our young people are facing an identity crisis, and they may not see the value that has given people hope and given people strength for thousands of years. And that's why I wake up every day wanting to do what I do.
Thank you so much, Suhag. While you were mentioning that, I'm reminded of one interview. See, when John Wright was the cricket coach of Indian cricket team, way to go India. So, when John Wright was the coach of Indian cricket team, there used to be a computer analyst who was a real whiz with numbers. And the Indian team, like for example, 𝗣𝗽𝗼𝗍 and 𝗣𝗚 Ganguly, they used to refer to him as John Left, because he always sat to the left of John Wright. And this man was so good with numbers that the South African cricket team got him on board for 2-3 years to get them to understand how these numbers stuff goes. So he was a vegetarian. And as the South African cricket team played in various venues in South Africa, there was one cricketer of Indian origin who made sure that this man would get vegetarian food. Didn't matter which country, which village they were playing. And his name is Hashim Amla. So the thing here is, we all are Sanatanis. We may be professing a different religion today, but we are all Sanatanis. And in my conversations with Sanjay ji, once in a while he let on that I'm going to be in Kenya for a few weeks. Sanjay ji, what exactly did you do in Kenya?
So that was not Kenya, that was Ghana.
Oh, Ghana, sorry.
So we have a small pharma company. My younger brother, he runs it. Recently we have launched a vaccine plant, maybe biggest in Africa. So that's the larger region that I go there to help, because I have done some funding into that whole thing. But once I go there also, I spend some time going to, there is a temple, there is a monastery. On the planet, Ghana is the country where maximum number of Hindus, they are growing every day. People will not be knowing. So you can see maximum number of Hindus. So you can see that number of Hindus are growing. In Ghana, there is a very large ISKCON institution over there, very large, because I have seen since 2005, it's much bigger now. The Hindu monastery also is much better shape now also. The acharyas, they are also, they recently came to Bharat. They took a proper training for 3 years of proper training. So I go for very different reasons for business, but I also spend some time meeting with the community over there. And it's very positive development, I would say. It's very, very great too. So I think I'm seeing this from the back that we are running short of time.
Yes.
I'll just stop here. And in fact, some of these things maybe Soumitra can talk about some of these things, because he travels all over the place. Before I close this thing, I just wanted to thank both of you, because mostly we are in the back, but mostly you all are at the front. Suhag ji and you both, and you spend a lot of time and you all get a lot of challenges and breaks. So at least Hindu community is also very thankful that people like you who all the time come and stand up all the shows is done. So we are really happy. Thank you.
Thank you once again. Thank you so much, Suhag ji, Sanjay ji, and Sree. So 3 SS, Satyam Shubham Sundaram. Thank you very much.